fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Commander Class Armada Universe Optimus Prime from the Transformers Legacy Evolution line from Hasbro. So this is one that I've been excited for a really long time. I remember the original toy and the auto-transforming gimmick was neat at the time, but it'll be really nice to just have a version of this character that's really, posable and has all the articulation and everything, so I'm really excited for this one. We have some beautiful artwork here on the front of the box. Of course, we're still rocking the plastic-free packaging, as you can see down here. So just have a closed box with some really nice artwork of Optimus in the Super mode. Up top here, we have Optimus in his cab and trailer mode. We have the QR code for the tech specs, as well as the Legacy Evolution logo. Down here, not really anything going on. Over here on the side, we have that standard half of the Legacy mural. And then we have over here, robot mode transforming into vehicle mode. Spinning it around to the back, we have some nice product shots, again, of the smaller robot mode, the cab mode, the full cab and trailer, the super mode, and then we have the cab transforming into the base mode, which is pretty cool, a little shot of the Matrix as well. So, again, I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be really neat. Let's go ahead, let's get him out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here is Armada Optimus Prime in vehicle mode. It does come packaged in vehicle mode. I wouldn't say there's some assembly required, but some of the pieces kind of come separately. The smokestack pieces here actually come attached to the gun. So these just peg into his forearm. And so in the box, for whatever reason, they come pegged into the gun like this, one on each side. So you just kind of pop those off and then peg them onto his forearms here. There's also like some slight assembly required with the trailer. This piece here in the center, and I can kind of show you how this goes. So if do I have to unpeg all of this? I think I do. These panels come up, and I think, actually, no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. So you can split this apart. These actually peg in. Let me zoom out here a bit. So this unpegs from here, and these flip up. And then this, like, whole assembly here slides out. Let me see if I can actually get this to go here. You can kind of pop the legs apart, too, if it makes it a little easier. But this piece slides out. So this piece comes separately in the box, and you just kind of have to angle it up like this. And then you can kind of see that there's a little channel here on each side. And that is going to slide onto these two tabs here while simultaneously pegging into that spot there. So you just kind of slide this on like that and peg that in. And these pieces actually go in the center. And I'll show that. I should have showed that off before I slid this in, but we'll get there. There's a lot to go over. So these pieces here actually rotate in. You can see that there's kind of a double hinge here. And they lift up and then kind of rotate over. You can see the double hinge here. So in the box, they come like this. So what you have to do is you have to lift this up. You kind of lift it straight up, and then it kind of rocks over on the double hinge, and then kind of pops into place there like that. And then you're allowed to slide this in. So let's pop this back in. Straighten that up. And then this is going to slide in on that channel and peg in. And then that will line this up so that these little tabs right here will tab into this little spot right here. And that will tab that on there and there. And then you just flip these pieces down to kind of cover up that empty space. And then that gives you like the trailer hitch. And so that will pop into this big spot right here. And then you are all set to go. So again, there's a minor bit of assembly to get it into the trailer mode. And then you can pop the gun on there. But he looks great. I think this looks fantastic. I really like this. You can really move this around. Nice range of motion there. Have him back up. Direct the trailer around. So I think that looks really cool. I love the Autobot symbol. All the paint on here looks fantastic. Back looks pretty clean. It's got this massive gun down here. So just all in all, I think this looks really solid. I really like the vehicle mode quite a bit. First off, what we'll do, we'll take the trailer off here. Let's go ahead and transform this into the robot mode. transformation into robot mode for the cab is pretty simplistic. I also think it's funny how like ridiculously long the truck bed is compared to the cab, but that's kind of funny. So in any case, let's see, where should we start? We will start by coming to the front here, and you have these little sections on the front that are kind of covering part of the grill section. So you can see the seam right here. Kind of have to like get a nail in there and pop this up. And this is also on like a double hinge, and so that will rotate over to the side. And then there is a tab, you can see, maybe you can't see, right in here, right there, which will tab into a spot in there. Hopefully you can see that it's in there. So that will come down and rest like that. So we're going to come and do that for the other side. Pop this up, rotate this over, and drop that down. Now you can see that these silver pieces, these kind of little wings, were previously covered by that. So you need to move those over to the side. That way that'll free that up to grab this whole section. Don't grab it here. I know you might want to grab it by the seam where the silver meets the red, but it's actually up here. This will come down. You can see that there are two tabs here. They will be held together by this square here. So this comes down, and then you just kind of push this up, and that will snap the whole chest there into place. You can see Optimus's head kind of poking out there. So now we'll kind of lift these sections up, and that will give us room to drop these red sections down. So these will kind of wiggle and come down, and again, double hinge. Everything's double hinges on this guy. This will probably unpeg several times, and it's fine. You just pop it back down. So again, double hinge, wiggle this down, and that drops down. Now, one thing I will say, I wish this kind of pegged into place here. I wish these kind of came down and snapped in. They don't. It's not a huge issue, but sometimes when you move the arms around, they'll want to come along with you. So then you just kind of straighten out the arm, and then we're going to rotate the fist to face forward. Very simple. Flip that, rotate that. Pretty much done. You can see we have kind of the whole torso finished up here. This section here, if you want, you can kind of push this up just to get some stuff out of the way. This is, I honestly don't know why this moves, I'll be honest. This is mostly, you have to push this out of the way when you show the head for the super mode. But I don't really know the benefit of ever having it down. It doesn't connect to anything. It doesn't like really cover all that much in the vehicle mode. So you could honestly push that up and leave it like that and never even really remember that it moves if you want. So what you have to do now is come down here, grab these pieces. These will unpeg from here and then swivel around. And then you can see that there's a tab here, and you just kind of have to lift these up a little bit. There is a tab here on the side, and the chest keeps popping off on mine. So just kind of lift that up until it hits that spot, and that'll line up. So unpeg, swivel, lift up ever so slightly, and then that'll kind of naturally stop. Now you have to kind of bend this the opposite way of the way you would think a knee would bend. Pop it like that, because there are these little tabs right here and here that are in this channel. And if you don't do that and you try to lift it straight up, you're going to have problems. So you can pop open this, because this actually pegs onto that. So lift these up as side skirts, and then you can lift these up as the back skirt. Then bend that back. Now we can split the legs in half, like so. We're going to lift up the shin pieces like this, and we're going to fold out the front toes and then close this back up. Now this should have a tab right here that goes into what is, I guess, the back of the fist for the super mode. So that'll go in and kind of tab into that. And you might have to play with it a little bit, but it should tab in. We'll fold that out. There we go. And I believe we are done. I don't think there's any back heels. He's just kind of got these little nubbins here for heels. But honestly, he doesn't need it. This is Optimus Prime, fully transformed. He looks good. I like him a lot. I think they did a really nice job with this. Like I said, the original toy had the auto-transforming feature, and because it had to also be the torso of the super mode, it didn't really have a ton of articulation, but this is able to do it all. This really does have some nice articulation. I think the head sculpt is really, really well done. Nice yellow eyes there. I think that looks great. Obviously, the shoulders cast a lot of shadow, but He really does look good. So the head's on a ball joint, side to side, no problem. A little bit of tilt side to side, a little bit of tilt back, a little bit of tilt forward, not a ton. But really nicely painted. All the gold, the eyes, the crown, silver faceplate looks good. All of this silver paint here on the front, I think looks really sharp as well. Really, really like that quite a bit. Shoulder-wise, like I said, this joint moves around a little bit. I wish it didn't, but you still have a really nice hinge here on the shoulder, as well as a rotation. You have a bicep swivel. You have elbows, but really you can do so much with these. You can bend them all the way around. The only thing you can't do is bend at this pin joint back, because you can see that comes up and hits, and that definitely stops. But you can bend at the elbow. I guess he kind of has double jointed elbows if you think about it. So he can get pretty nice range of motion there. The wrists do swivel, as I showed during the transformation. And then he does have these arm-mounted stack guns. If you want to take these off, though, you can pop these off, and then you can use these ports for literally anything. So he's got a port here. He's got a port here. I think he's got ports here on the bottom. He's got some ports here on the back. The other thing that's interesting is you can take this little Autobot symbol off. So you can take this off. And then he's got another port there. And they advertise storing it here in like his armpit. Which you can. Or just put it off to the side. Whatever you prefer. I usually just leave it on there. But if you want to store something there, if you want to put a gun here, he's got a lot of different ports around. So that's pretty cool. I personally just like to leave these on the arms because I feel like it's an iconic part of his design. And I like that he's got this kind of hot rod, you know, forearm guns all the time. I think that's cool. Now, the one thing he does not have is waist articulation. And that's because he needs to transform into a torso. And there's just no way the legs, you know, have to butterfly open to become the shoulders for the super mode. So he does not have torso articulation in any way. At least I'm pretty positive he doesn't, because it would be kind of too hard to get this stuff to... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So he does have some nice range of motion, though, in the hips, kicking pretty far forward. If you lift the skirt up here, he can kick pretty far back, kick pretty far out to the side. So nice range of motion there. Got a thigh swivel. Got nice 90-degree knees. He's also got forward knees, which is not natural, but he's got them. And then you do have your ankle tilt. Front to back, not really anything. I mean, you can kind of move the toes around a little bit just because of how it transforms. But I wouldn't really call that articulation. But he's definitely got ankle tilt. So we'll give him some ankle tilt. But yeah, he looks great. I really, really like him quite a bit. I think they did a great job. Of course, we can bring the gun in as well to give him the massive fusion... No, his isn't the fusion cannon. Ion blaster, that's what he's got. I almost lost my Transformer fan card there for a second. Anyway, he looks cool. I like him quite a bit. Let's bring in some of the others to do some size comparisons here. Alright, so here he is up first with Deluxe Class Armada Hotshot. And I think these two scale pretty nicely. Optimus was definitely always bigger than Hotshot, so I think that's pretty cool. Next up, of course, we have to pair him with Armada Megatron. And in this mode, he is definitely smaller than Armada Megatron. But when we get to the super mode, he will be taller than him. So it's kind of nice. I think these two look pretty good. I feel like, yes, he's a little bit bigger, but they're still pretty close in size. And I really like these two together. And then our last Armada character that we have so far is Armada Starscream. And honestly, I feel like these guys are pretty much on par with each other. So this is kind of like a Voyager class robot here for Prime in this mode. But he's very chunky. He's very bulky, which I like. So I think that's pretty cool. So let's bring them all in together. Why not? Let's get a big group shot family photo going here. Pretty cool. Yeah, I think they're doing great so far. I'm interested to see them continue, so we'll see how that goes. I know we're getting, they just showed off at SDCC, we're getting the Power Links repaint of Hotshot, which I think looks fantastic. He's coming with a minicon, so they're finally doing minicons. I feel like we definitely need some catch-up, though. We need Sparkplug and Leader 1 and Swindle, so just do some kind of, you know, Hasbro Pulse minicon pack or something. Throw some blaster cassettes in there as well. We need a couple more. We need Steeljaw and Ramjet. Steeljaw and Ramjet. Yeah, Steeljaw and Ramhorn. That's what their names are. In any case, I think this is looking pretty good so far. I'm actually getting nostalgic for Armada again, which is Something I didn't think was ever going to happen because I didn't enjoy it as much at the time. But I definitely am like, where's Cyclonus? Where's Demolisher? I need them. Where's... He's Red Alert, right? Not First Aid. He's Red Alert in Armada. But yeah, definitely. Let's get some more Armada characters in the mix. Alright, so next up, let's go ahead and convert the trailer into base mode. And one thing I forgot to show, obviously when you take Prime off, you're going to have it kind of start to slump forward. It has these little pieces here that you can rotate down to act as stands, which is nice. And then that will keep it nice and level, which I think is pretty cool. So let's go ahead. Let's convert this into the base mode. We'll start by flipping up these tabs here like so. We will come around to the back, lift this up, bring this up to about here, and then spin this piece 180 like that. We will start by unhooking these panels here. These will flip up, and then these will flip up as well. So we'll do that over here on this side as well. And then we can go ahead and split the legs as I did previously. So we want to unhook this right here like so. And then we can spread the legs all the way apart like that. Then we will flip this section out and flip this section out. And I believe... Yes, then we come like this. So what we will do is we will leave these down, and you can see that there are 2 square tab slots. So this is where it was tabbed in when it was in the trailer mode. Now it's going to tab into this other one. So this tab right here, we're going to lift this all the way up, and then that's going to pop in there. We are going to lift these like I showed previously. This will lift up, accordion in, and then you can see that there's a little slot. Let me zoom in here so you can see this. There's a slot right here that's going to just fall into from up top and push in like that. So that's going to be one side. And then I think they want you to close these up like that. Just kind of another way to solidify this. So bring this down. This comes up. Tabs in like that. This is going to lift up, accordion in, and then push this up. And I think at this point you're mostly done. You're going to flip these down to act as like stand little feet. This is going to come down. You can see that there are 2 tabs here which are going to tab in here and here. So this comes down and tabs in there to really shore that up. And then this is going to lift up like so. This is going to come down like this. Let me zoom out here, and then spin it around at this spot right here, 180. And there you go. There is the base mode. There's not much to it, I'll be honest, but there it is. It is the base mode. So let's see if we bring Prime back in here. He can't even really stand. I mean, he's really big compared to it. Let me see. Can Hotshot kind of hang out? I mean, kind of. I mean, I would really just have them stand around behind it. It's just a flat platform with a Gatling gun. I mean, that's really all that's going on here. I kind of liked the look when this was still up, when these were popped up, and you had that. I was hoping to use that blue gun, but unfortunately it never, like this piece right here, it never faces the front. So unfortunately they just have you store it back there. But yeah, this is the base mode. There's not much to it. I mean, I appreciate that it's here because the original one had it. The original one had more to it, though. I think this section was like on some struts and it had a couple levels. If we had some mini-cons, they could definitely use this thing as a base. That could be cool. The other thing you could do is if you want, you could take this and kind of pop it on here to give a little firepower out the back. And then maybe you could bring these guns forward, something like that. Honestly, I kind of like the look of leaving these up. Just me personally. If I flip these up again like this, it just gives it a little bit more character. Just, you know, because otherwise it's just kind of a flat, you know, not really that interesting thing. But if you do something like this, Now it's kind of got levels, and it's got a little bit of excitement to it. You could have this still face out the back, or maybe, can we play with this? You could do something like this and bring this up. If you want all the guns, maybe something like that. I don't know. I just think that's a little bit more visually interesting. I just feel like this has a little something to it. You've got these kind of ballistic missiles here in the front. You could have this cannon. This will not stay down. And then this just being raised up, I don't know, it just gives it a little something for me. So I kind of like this. I mean, it's not much different, but just, you know, playing around with it a little bit, I feel like it really will not stay down. I don't know what's going on with these. I probably don't have it. No, I do. All right, well, whatever. But again, I just think this is a little bit more visually interesting. You have some more guns. It gives it a couple different levels just to make it a little bit more exciting. You could still leave these down and still use the guns if you want, but I don't know. Just a couple little tweaks. I think it looks a little bit cooler. Alright, so I've gone ahead and returned it to like the classic configuration because it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, the super mode. I'm going to go ahead and remove the cannon here. We're going to start out by coming down here and flipping out these large front toes, and then these pop up to become heels. This is going to lift up, so lift this section up. This will come down. Now this will come down and tab into this one right here. There we go. This will kind of hang down as a skirt, but we'll get there. We're going to unhook this. This comes down. This flips around. Flip this. Flip out the toe. So we can see that the legs are kind of starting to take shape. We're going to have to unpeg this piece here. We can move this down if that helps. We can lift this up like that. This will kind of, I think these flip up. This kind of hangs down, and then this straightens out and I think turns around again. And these two tabs right here actually peg into these two spots right here. So this comes up and clips into those. And then unfortunately this just kind of hangs down like a back skirt, unfortunately. I believe this flips around like so, and then this whole section rotates around 180 degrees, and then that way this drops down to make the front skirt, this drops down for the side skirts. Like I mentioned, this just hangs down here. Not the best, but what are you going to do? So there you go. That is pretty much ready to go. You do have to lift. I think this drops down and this lifts up. And we will be ready to bring in our torso, so let's bring Optimus in. Alright, so transforming Optimus, we are going to start by lifting up this section here. We're going to flip in the foot. This whole section is going to rotate in, and then you can see that there are these kind of open spaces right here and here on the shin guard. They are going to sit on top of what were those little heels in the robot mode. So bring this down, and that will kind of fill in that space. Then come around to the back and flip the foot up to kind of hide the negative space. I thought that was such a nice touch. It's such a minor little thing, but just fills in that empty space there, which is really nice. So lift this up. Come on now. There we go. Fold in the foot. Rotate that around. Bring that down. Flip this in. And then also you can kind of recreate that iconic shot in the cartoon where he's like transforming it first. And like flipping out just the feet, you know, the fists out of the bottom of his legs, which I always thought was kind of cool. So we got that going on there. Next up, we are going to lift up the arms. We can bring this section down. Or actually, I'm sorry, lift this up. That's right. This will wiggle back up into place. So you kind of use that double hinge and use this to cover up the sides of Prime's head, like that. Then we are going to grab these two gray pieces, and they will rotate out to the side. So unhook this waist section here, and then these will rotate out to the side. Make sure these aren't in the way. Just like that. So you can kind of bring the shoulder pads back together at this point. So kind of bring this down, clip that in, and then clip this over top. And that kind of solidifies that all back together. That'll come into play more in a moment. But basically, you can see what we're doing here. This part's interesting. So you need to bring... Hold on, now I'm going to forget how this works. Yeah, let's do the head first. So you can see the head down there in kind of his abdomen. And this can be a little tricky to pop out, but you want to grab a hold of the head and get this to pop out. Now, there are... and this is going to be impossible to show off, but there are tiny little tabs. Can you see that? Let me get in. So right there and there. And they are going to fit into spots right there on the side. So you kind of want to like push these apart, bring this up, and then it'll kind of like tab in place. So you kind of have to pull these apart a little bit, and then that'll kind of find its groove and sit in there. So that is good. Then we are going to bring these down, and you can see we have our big shoulders. Now the arms come up and then fold back like this, and then this kind of comes up. And this little section here kind of fits in this little groove here, and then this tab right here sits right there. So this kind of comes up and tabs into place right there, like that. So we will repeat that again. You want to bend the arm like that, and then it comes up. And make sure it kind of fits inside the lip, and then tabs into place. Come on, you. There we go. Okay, so now we can bring the arm down. Make sure the shoulder pads stay together. There we go. And then the last step is to just flip these on the side of his head out. There we go. And that head sculpt is fantastic. Really nicely done. Really nicely painted. Now again, if you had this piece up still, you want to make sure that that's pushed down so that you can see the full head. But other than that, he is pretty much ready to go. And then this piece just kind of hangs out here. So let's bring our legs back in. Okay, so the combination of these two parts is where it gets interesting. So you can see that this, what was the grill of the truck mode, is kind of jetting out to the back, and it has like this part that angles downward. It needs to fit in this gap here. So you kind of have to like tuck this in and then kind of push it. And it's kind of weird, but it will go in. And then you can see that there are these two tabs on the shoulders, and these tabs right here are going to go in. So this kind of goes back, and then that tabs in on the two sides like that. And then you want to just bring this down, and these clips are going to go in this area here. So bring this in. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? This red piece needs to come forward. It's kind of a big deal, but I remembered it in time. So bring this all the way forward. This comes down, and then you kind of have to finagle it a little bit. So you kind of bring it down, and it will kind of click. So let me see if I can get this to do it. Come on now. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I don't know why I have trouble with it from time to time. There we go. Okay. And then you just kind of push that back in. You don't even have to move it that much, but all right. There is our Armada Optimus Prime Super Mode. Let me move the camera because I still don't have him in frame. So here we go. Armada Optimus Prime Super Mode. He looks pretty great, honestly. With the exception of this skirt piece hanging here off the back, I like him a lot. I think he's really, really cool. And the amount of articulation that he has is pretty astounding. So I already showed the head sculpt off, which looks phenomenal. You know, you get the head on a ball joint side to side. You can look up a little bit. You can't really look down, just looks forward. Can't really tilt side to side, but you can look side to side, no problem. So nice there. Got the rotation here on the shoulders, as well as the out to the side. Really nice ratchets, as you can hear, because those were his hips in the smaller robot mode. You do have what was his thigh swivel is now his bicep swivel. Got those elbows. Now he's got these hands, and they're very nicely painted gold. They can rotate around. They have opening fingers. They're one solid piece. But he's also got this like circle here so he can hold the gun. So when you open the hands, it's weird. That was the one thing I thought they did so well with like Commander class Jetfire. This would rescind into the hand when you opened up the fingers. But I guess they just didn't bother with that here. It's not a big deal. It's really not. But I just thought it was funny that they've done it before, where when you close the hand, this pops out. It's perfect. When you open the hand, it would go back into the hand, and they just opted not to do it here. So it's not a big deal, but I just thought that was funny. Again, no waist swivel for obvious reasons. You have the side skirts here. You have the front skirt. You can lift all this out of the way. Really nice ratchets in the hips. You can hear all that. Can't really go far back because of this, but you can kick pretty far out to the side. Thigh swivel. Pretty much 90 degrees there in the knees. And then, of course, we have ankle tilt. So, far and above any articulation the original toy had, because, again, that self-transforming gimmick feature, which was neat at the time, I will say it was, that just hindered any and all articulation. So this guy is ready. The one thing I will say, it is annoying to constantly accidentally pop off. But I guess if you really wanted, like, you can open this up if you want, like, the arm to come up this way. So it does give you options, because if this was a solid block, it would hinder the articulation. So if you want to put the arm all the way out like that, you absolutely can, because these do open up. So it's annoying that they pop apart, but you really couldn't have it any other way. It would really hinder the articulation, so it is a good thing. The blaster, I feel like, is a good size for both modes. It's a little big in the smaller robot mode. It's a little small in the larger robot mode, but it's a nice balance. It looks fine in both modes. Yeah, he's cool, man. I like him. I like him a lot. So let's bring our family group shot back in here. Now Megatron is shaking in his boots, because when it was just the smaller mode, he was towering over him, but not now. He is much taller than leader class Megatron, but still look cool together. Still very, very cool together. Here is bringing back in Armada Starscream, and of course Armada Hotshot. So they're looking good. They're looking good together. I'm excited to see, what else we're getting. I know we just saw like a shattered glass sideswipe that looks like it's 100% going to be Armada Wheeljack, so that would be cool. For years, it feels like years at this point, we've been saying that Point Blank could be turned into Armada Blur. That's a possibility. So I definitely think there's more stuff in the pipeline. I think a lot of people were speculating that the Jurassic Park Ford Explorer could become Red Alert with some retooling, which is, again, very possible. So there's a lot of things out there lurking, and we're just waiting for them to happen. But we at least kind of have the two most important characters on each side here. So this is going to bother me. I need to put the Autobots on one side and the Decepticons on the other side. There we go. That's better. But yeah, this is cool. I like this a lot. He looks really fantastic, especially with everyone all together. So yeah, I love this. I think this is absolutely fantastic. And I do have to admit, with the first time around with Armada, I did not love this design of Prime's super mode. The auto-transforming gimmick was kind of neat. But I think just because of how static and brick-like the super mode was, I just didn't really appreciate it. I didn't love the overall design. Even the head sculpt I didn't used to like all that much. But having it come around again, I'm actually feeling nostalgia for Armada, which I did not think was going to happen. But I guess it's been 20 years or so, which is crazy to think about. And absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I'm kind of loving this reinvention of Armada. And this is a really fun toy. This is a really great version of Optimus here, and I can't wait to see what else they do. There's rumors of maybe a Jetfire for him to combine with. I know some people were saying that it's possible that you might be able to use this peg to connect Overload, which I don't have handy at all, so I apologize. I can't show that off. But I've seen people online try to connect Overload, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it's a thing where they knew they weren't going to do it, so they kind of made it possible. So if you have the old one, you can do it, and that's fun. But I would love a new Jetfire. I think that would be really cool. I'd love to be able to see what they could do with that. But yeah, this guy's really cool. Really, really fun. Even if this is all we get, if we don't get anything else for him to combine with, this is cool. This is nice. It's just a great, fully articulated version of this character, finally. You know, no auto-transforming gimmick. It had its time. It was neat back in the day. I'm not putting it down. But just to have a really nice, fully articulated version of this, it really shines. It looks great. The paint applications are good. Transformations back and forth, not too difficult. You do it once or twice. It's pretty easy to get the hang of it. The base mode is a little lacking, but you guys saw I kind of did like a fan mode where I just kind of changed a few things around, and I think it gives it a little bit more character, and I like it a little bit better. Definitely looking forward to some mini-cons, because if I'm going to have a little base like that, I want to use it for mini-cons. So please do some kind of mini-con pack to catch up on the ones we're missing. But yeah, I don't really have any notes for this thing. I gotta be honest. It's pretty fun. It's pretty great. Maybe... Well, the only note I would have is I wish it came with Sparkplug, his minicon. That's it. That's the only note. Oh, one thing I did want to mention. When you're taking this apart, when you want to go back to the other modes, you have to, of course, unhook... Actually, before you would do anything... Did this come unhooked? Anyway... When you want to remove this connection, there are these little tabs. There are these little gray tabs here and here. And you will push them in, and then you can pull the torso off, and then you can unhook this piece and slide it off. So that's what you have to do. For the clasps that where it connects to the waist, push these in, and then you can lift it off. I don't think the directions say that at all, I'll be honest. And the first time I just pulled it off, and that wasn't great. And then I figured out, oh, there's tabs here. That's what that's for. So these are the release. You have to push these in, and then you can take those off. The other thing is, before you push this piece back down, you have to make sure that after you push them in that they click all the way out again, and then you can push this little red piece back down. So last little note for that one to make sure I put that in there. But yeah, this guy's great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But if you have the means, I definitely recommend picking him up. Even if you're not a Super Armada fan, I still think it's a great toy. I really do. I think this will make you become a Super Armada fan. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.